he has a bit about Amazon, and he's like, Amazon, we can't do this 24-hour bullshit. We want it now. We want Amazon now. We want the shit materializing in our hand as we click the button. Dude, the guy is hilarious. I'm probably gonna post this snippet in the description, but he's true though. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I said, bash
I
Amazon for their bad shit all you want, but
yeah.
their execution, absolutely.
Nobody move and nobody gets hurt. This is a stick up by Jerry and Adrian, the Legalized Robbery podcast.
The one and only Jerry.
I just wanted to say you should start with yourself this time. Good one. Nice.
I do that for myself this time.
Yes,
Nah.
yes, yes.
You're here with your humble and gracious host, Jerry, joined by the incomparable Romanian stallion, Adi, and today we're discussing a few interesting topics. Among them, the upcoming crypto regulation should be really interesting, and Gary Gensler, who's it's going to be is the head of SEC, who will be looking at, into this part of the industry. Then we'll talk about Binance Pay and one of my favorite companies, Shopify, and what they've got planned. We'll talk a little bit about the Ethereum London fork, which is the latest update that went live today. And then we'll talk about Coinbase enabling crypto users to sort of buy on their platform easier via Apple Pay and Google Pay. So yeah, lots of interesting stuff to talk about.
Yep.
I will take the start and sort of give a broad idea on the upcoming regulation. But before that, how are you doing today, Adi?
I'm good. I'm a bit tired though, just
Yeah,
slightly. Yeah, but other than that, I'm good. I went to a
yeah,
cycling class in the evening. I got in a nice workout, so I'm all cardioed up.
nice,
Uh,
nice, nice.
yeah, yeah.
So is
It
that
was
what
a
you
good
do,
day.
like a little bit of cardio before the podcast?
Yeah, like I need to get rid of the excess energy, so that
Yeah,
it doesn't come off wrong.
got you. Yeah, I thought about that as well. I think sometimes I'm a little bit more amped up if I do any kind of sport before we record the pod.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to today. I've like what I've been really interested and focused on is injury prevention exercises and
Mm-hmm.
bulletproofing your knee. There's this guy called Knees Over Toes guy that I heard first on Joe Rogan, and he's had like multiple knee surgeries and stuff. And he's
Mm-hmm.
doing these really weird exercises, and they really help your knee. And you can do this for long distance running and stuff like that. So yeah, legalized robbery just turned into a goddamn sports podcast.
Yeah, coincidentally, I actually had some knee injuries after. Well, I hit it actually. I jumped over something and I failed, and then I went to a doctor and they checked and they said that it's like visible that I did a lot of sports/contact sports because the tendons are a bit rugged, and they actually recommended I take some supplements. And I actually did, and I'm still doing it right now. I'm taking some supplements specifically for the gym with collagen, turmeric,
Collagen,
and a lot of a
yes,
lot of stuff
love
to
it.
yeah, to regenerate the articulation, stop some inflammation. So it's actually good. I'm not feeling any pain anymore. So yeah.
That is great. Yeah. See,
Hmm.
these things are so important.
It is,
All of the stuff around the workout.
of course.
Stretching, getting the
Yeah,
right vitamins in, not
warmed
necessarily,
up.
yeah, making sure that you're warmed up and stuff like that. All of these things are super important. And I didn't
Yeah.
know that myself. I was sort of like, on a David Goggins thing last summer, if you remember, like just pushing, 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 like working out when you're literally in pain. just
Yeah.
I don't know. It's almost a little bit masochistic, isn't it? Like to push through the pain, but
You need
um,
the way I think about it is you need to assess if it's structural pain, or just like I said in the previous podcast, you're just being a
a
pussy, you
pussy.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have to weigh it.
You have to weigh it
Sometimes it
out,
feels
man.
like something else, you know. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
let's go.
Let's do this. So there's upcoming regulation. Obviously in the crypto space. Anybody that follows the space probably knows. There's this new guy that's the new chairman of the SEC, which is the
Hmm.
Securities and Exchange Commission, and his name is Gary Gensler. I hope I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah, I think it's
And
correct.
he made a statement very recently, and I'll quote: "Right now, we just don't have enough investor protection in crypto. Frankly, at this time, it's more like the Wild West." And he sort of prepared to make further statements in the upcoming weeks. And I find it very useful to actually follow him on Twitter. This will
Hmm.
be the person that will be deciding a lot of the decisions that will determine our profits. So in that aspect, it makes sense to be following people like that. So anybody listening that is interested in the space, I would say, give him a follow. And I don't actually think Gary Gensler is a bad guy, so to say, just because he's part of the SEC. He is interesting in the aspect that he has a background where he at least considered crypto and has like
Yeah.
some deeper knowledge of it. Obviously,
Hmm.
if you teach blockchain and crypto space at MIT, you have to know something. So I think he will bring the right kind of regulation that crypto needs.
Hmm.
Even though my personal opinion is that that there's all kinds of things that governments tend to ignore, like payday loans and stuff like that, predatory pricing, um, loans with incredibly high APY and APR, they're just as
Hmm.
predatory as bad crypto. So, but that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, moving on. Um, he has just made some sort of broad statements that he wants to crack down on crypto in terms of areas where investors are vulnerable. And you just look in the most recent news is Bitcoin BSV. I'm not sure if you've heard of those, Addy, but
It's
they've
a
had
fork, right?
a
Right.
yeah, it's a sort of fork of Bitcoin, and they've had a 51% attack.
Oh, really? No, I haven't heard of this. Interesting.
I think it almost happened twice.
Okay. Well, that sucks.
A 51% attack. I'm not gonna act like I know this shit really well because I don't. But from what I can understand, it's the type of attack where somebody, like a whale, takes, due to him having so much money, on the platform, he is it that he withdraws it or something to
No, 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 no,
manipulate the
no,
price or
no. And
something?
that's not the thing. Actually, this is what I was checking now. If BSV is a proof of work, it's not about money. It's about computing power. If it were a proof of stake, it were about money and actually assets. But if it's proof of work, it means that they actually have a majority of the proof of work that is involved in the process. So basically, they control the network by
Hmm.
sheer processing power. So yeah, if it's I'm not gonna search it now, but yeah, if it's a proof of work network, they actually had processing power dominance. So yeah, basically they controlled and they would have been able to propagate any changes and accept any changes they would want, because everything is like a consensus mechanism. If I want to publish a change and if a majority of the people accepts it, that's good. We move to that change. So if you own a majority of the nodes, you can accept changes on the network, potentially hard forking it.
I see. I see. Yeah. So it's more a power sort of play where
Yeah.
the person then can make decisions about yeah about the movement of the or traction of the coin. So here, I just got the definition of Investopedia, and the key takeaway is a 51% attack refers to an attack on a blockchain, most commonly Bitcoins, for which such an attack is still hypothetical by a group of miners controlling more than 50% of the network's mining hash rate or computing power.
Exactly.
So it's actually miners. Okay, okay.
That's why I said you need computing power, you need
Yeah,
processing power. So this is
yeah.
about hardware.
So the key takeaways is blockchains are distributed ledgers that record every transaction made on a cryptocurrency network. A 51% attack on a blockchain by a group of miners who control more than 50% of the mining hash rate. Yeah, just what we said about attackers with majority control of the network can interrupt the recording of new blocks by preventing other miners from completing blocks. Changing historical blocks is difficult due to the hard coding of past transactions into the Bitcoin software. Um, yeah, but this wasn't. So I just pointed this out not to get into like the details about what types of attacks are possible for coins. I just mentioned it as an example for something that the SEC would be able to or would be interested in regulating, because this is something that a lot of people lost money on. And you know what's
They,
crazy?
they can't do anything,
Um,
man. They have
it,
zero power. They're
yeah,
powerless
pretty
here.
much, that's the
Yeah.
problem. But I'm not sure that there might be some peripheral things that they can do. Because I don't think this Gary Gensler guy is I don't think he's a stupid guy. When he,
No,
um, every time I seen him speak, he was very like very regal, and like he seems to know what he's talking about.
I think he
So
does.
while they won't be able to change things directly, I think there's some things on the on the margins that they can change, but yet to be seen.
Hmm.
Anyway, what's interesting, I think, for listeners of legalized robbery would be what to do with this information. Knowing that there's going to be regulation. How do you navigate the landscape? And the big question then is, what are the types of projects that would withstand regulation or be agile enough, or be quick enough to adapt to coming regulation?
Hmm.
And I had a few in mind, and I just wanted to focus on one in particular, and that one being Chainlink. And for anybody that wants to sort of find out on a very basic level what Chainlink is, we've discussed it in the previous podcast, so you can go and check out the old stuff, just to get you up to speed.
Yeah.
But Chainlink is basically like just very high level description is like it's an oracle. They get information that you can then use to inform all kinds of things in the blockchain. Because they're so useful, because they're an oracle that they pull price data, real world data on, I don't know, it could be anything in real estate, and then inform the blockchain. Because they're so useful, they are used by a bunch of other coins,
Yeah.
and they allow for interoperability between those coins. Interoperability, the easiest example of that being, I'm on one phone network, Adi's on another phone network, yet when I call him, it's possible to get through to him, even though we're on
Yep.
two different phone networks, right? So it's almost like Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is interoperable if you think about it.
Yeah.
And Chainlink works in the same way, but just in the crypto space. And it allows for other blockchains to communicate to each other certain information. And this usefulness is so big that I think it's I don't know the exact number. I have this graph here that I could show. Oops. So this graph,
Yeah.
as you can see, right?
Hmm.
So down here, you have Chainlink, and they support all of these different coins,
Yeah.
and they offer them interoperability
Mm-hmm.
and acting as an oracle.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look closely, these are like really, really big coins. I mean, you have Synthetics, which is a DX platform, decentralized exchange. Uniswap obviously needs no introduction. You have Compound, a lot of very, popular names. And
Yeah.
Chainlink is the background of all of this. Furthermore, um, Chainlink is working with Swift, and they're creating their own smart oracle through a Chainlink. And what's interesting is that Swift is deeply entrenched in the traditional finance industry,
Yeah.
and they work with more than 11,000 banks, as you can see here. So just think about the scope here, and cycling back to what I said originally, what would be the type of coin that would be able to withstand regulation? And in my opinion, it would be the type that is already entrenched in the traditional finance industry.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one example of it, Chainlink. And what's crazy is that Swift is working with Chainlink, obviously, but Swift also works with China. Yet China banned Bitcoin, but still, in some indirect fashion, is working with Chainlink. Like it's almost like Chainlink is so sort of important to the to or so useful that you cannot deny it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the future, this will continue to increase sort of the use case for Chainlink. I think there was another, yeah. So, what do you think, Adi?
Well, for starters, I wanted to say that I I'm having so sorry, sorry, let me start from the bottom. Gary Gensler, like you said, I also read about him when he got this position. I read about his past at MIT. I think he was part of the finance school, so he wasn't necessarily on the tech side. He was on the financial side, and yeah, he was giving lectures. I'm not sure if it was just crypto, but definitely about crypto as well. So he is at least a knowledgeable guy about the industry, which makes me happy from the perspective that they had the big tech hearings, and the guy was asking, I think it was the guy from Microsoft, why do I have this in my Gmail? And the guy was like, what are you talking about? Like, dude, yeah. So I'm not sure if this was exactly the case, but he was asking about another company's product and why he had some spam in his email or some shit like that, which is absolutely fucking absurd. Like, you cannot have those kind of people regulating anything or like passing any types of laws because they don't know shit about that. So from this perspective, I think it's a good thing that there's a guy who's knowledgeable and understands them. I mean, we don't know what his moral alignment is, which is actually more important here, not just the understanding, because he might want to destroy crypto because he wants centralized exchange control, whatever. So, but yeah,
Overlord.
at least he knows what he's doing, which is a good thing. Regarding what you say, I understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure the first part of your argument is as relevant as the second one. The fact that a token or a chain is used by other cryptos is not necessarily any type of protection from regulations. However, yeah, being interconnected with Swift, I'm sure that comes with some scrutiny by itself, which means that, yeah, I'm assuming Chainlink has done some extra homework to be able to work with Swift and be adopted by them. So I think there might be something there. But regarding the other cryptos, I'm not sure that's necessarily a benefit. Like, it's good for Chainlink, but if somebody wants to regulate what Chainlink is doing, they're just gonna do it. They're not
Yeah,
gonna be like, oh yeah, we're not gonna do it because they're part of the top 10 cryptos. They wouldn't care. I mean, that's just my view on it, right? So
Yeah.
But other than that, it's interesting.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, it probably doesn't. It probably isn't so much of a protection against regulation. If anything, it might be worse for regulation,
Yeah,
or might be worse affected by regulation. But I guess the reason that I pulled it out was just to show the dominance of
oh yeah,
chain, and how much of it is running in the background for other cryptos. So
sure.
it's a meta play more than it is, any particular sort of shiny investment. It really is the infrastructure. It's an infrastructure play.
Yeah, no, I agree with that totally. Like that's you're correct with that. Yeah, it's the biggest Oracle chain, and like you said, it's used by a lot of networks. So in terms of winning the Oracle race, I think Chainlink is in a really good position. But I think we spoke about this before that we have to see what Ethereum is going to actually do in the future because they were saying, and I think Ethereum and Cardano as well. I'm not sure if it was Vitalik or Hoskins who said that basically you won't need oracles once you have good smart contracts because the chain will do that themselves. But I think it might have been Hoskins because they don't actually have working smart contracts. But that's a totally different story.
Yeah, yeah,
It's for the future. It's not relevant now, I
yeah.
guess.
I mean, that'll be interesting. You
Yeah,
know, that'll be
yeah.
definitely interesting. Yeah, so that's everything on Chainlink. We'll probably do like an extended session on Chainlink itself, just to supplement the previous bull thesis that we did on it. But it's really interesting as a just infrastructure, digital infrastructure play.
Yeah,
Uh,
Web 3.0.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you wanted to talk about Binance Pay and the news about them working with my one of my largest holdings, Shopify.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, tell me about that. What's been happening there?
So, as you know, I like Binance a lot, and coincidentally, I liked it before it was cool. Primarily because it's one of the oldest and best exchanges, and I also like the adaptability and innovation in them. And like I told you, and like I said in a couple of, I think I said it in multiple podcasts. Whatever happens in the crypto space, the Binance Smart Chain has it in 3 months as well, which is absolutely incredible. Full respect for that. I mean, it's not like they're not innovating, but adapting things that are working in the crypto space in your smart chain is amazing, and with at this speed. So basically, I was checking out some news today, and it just hit me that they're doing a partnership with Shopify, and I was like, really, with Shopify? How? And actually, I did not know about this feature of Binance. Surprisingly, there's a feature I don't know about. It's called Binance Pay. Well, you've heard of stuff having pay at the end, and yeah, it's exactly that. There's a infrastructure they have in which you can actually pay crypto to other people's wallets through a QR code. Like you can, I can get it. I can generate you a QR code right now. You can scan it with your Binance application, with your QR code reader from the Binance application, and you'll send me that money, that crypto. I was like, I didn't even know they have this, but this is amazing, dude.
Does
This is
does it?
like,
It's not like do they have like a credit card or something? It's not like it works like Apple
no,
Pay or
it's
something.
wallet to wallet. No,
Oh,
I
wallet.
generate a QR code, you scan it, you confirm it, and you send me the goods. That's it.
Oh, okay.
So
So
it's
it's
peer
not
to peer.
for the It's not for the real world, so to say. It's more like just digitally being able to do
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah, they call it peer to peer, but yeah, basically it's peer to peer. Okay,
yeah,
but this is where it gets. First off, I didn't know about this. It's super interesting, and basically, as it is right now, you could generate QR codes, and obviously, they have an API, so you could potentially generate them programmatically. So basically, I can create a website right now in which all the checkout pages would probably lead to a QR code which you could just scan and pay for, which is this is already super interesting. It's
right,
like,
right.
dude, this is like some PayPal Square level stuff because
Yeah.
this is actually payments in crypto, directly in crypto. It's actually better than credit cards or debit cards or whatever because you don't go through the classic infrastructure. You go directly crypto. That's amazing. And now it,
But
yeah.
Like what's the speed? You say
It's
it's
just
better. It's better, but it's not better just because it's doesn't go through the traditional
it's
um way, right? Like what's
dude, it's an API call to Binance, and then it settles on the network itself.
yeah?
So you
How
probably,
quickly
if
do
you
you
do it
settle?
on XRP or something else, it's almost instant.
Okay, okay. So it's Binance Pay, but it's
Yes.
not Binance own coin. It's across all of the.
No. You can do it in whatever coin you want.
I see. Okay,
Whatever. It's like 40 of them, but yeah, 40.
I
You can
see. I
do
see. Okay.
BTC, Ethereum, USDT, XRP,
Mm-hmm.
even Binance coin if you want to. And even that, it doesn't have that long of a settlement time. But anyways,
No,
yeah,
Binance coin is quick.
yeah, it's decently quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is already interesting. This is like already super interesting to me. This is basically telling people that you can create a website and have payments go to Binance whenever somebody wants to pay you. That's
Right.
awesome. That's already awesome. But now I read the article, and it's about they're integrating with a payment hybrid. Actually, they called it something like this, a multi-channel hybrid, I think, which is called Alchemy Pay because it probably combines shit. They have everything. Anything you can do with a credit card,
You can do on
uh,
Alchemy Pay.
you can do on Alchemy Pay.
Right.
And Alchemy Pay is integrated with Shopify. And since Binance is going to get integrated with Alchemy Pay,
How long has Alchemy Pay been working with Shopify? Has this been a previous thing, or is this like is this just as new as Binance sort of working with?
No. Apparently, Alchemy Pay is integrated with Shopify for a while now. I didn't know about it. I haven't heard about it,
Me neither.
but yeah. But so Shopify has this thing where you on their platform you can either choose to use their own payment processing, or you can use third parties. And I think Alchemy Pay is one of those third parties.
Third parties. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. But basically, what this will do, it will give Binance access to Alchemy Pay, which is accessible through Shopify. And actually, there's like multiple partners here. Most of them are in Asia, so people might not have heard of them if they're not from Asia. But from that perspective, yeah, you'll be able to pay on a Shopify website directly to Binance. So I'll be able to create a Binance account, whatever. Probably there's some API calls to create my account and whatever, and then people will pay on Shopify, and it will go straight to my Binance account, like almost seamless integration probably, because Alchemy Pay is already there. So they're just probably gonna plug in somewhere Binance Pay in that equation. This is amazing. So in terms of we always spoke about mass adoptions for crypto payments, and yeah, like I said, Square and PayPal, they're leading the charge. But this is
Shopify is coming
interesting.
into the mix.
Shopify is coming into the mix, but think about this. This is Binance. So this is Binance and Alchemy Pay. They're both crypto-centric companies, and obviously Alchemy Pay is also a token. But they're crypto companies and Shopify. So we're not basically. I mean, whatever you think about the whatever your view on this is, we took the stocks, the legacy companies out of the equation, and we went directly to crypto. And also by doing this, because Alchemy Pay also has hardware, potentially you could start a Shopify website, e-commerce solution, and have also a physical solution where you would have Alchemy Pay card readers, and you would not go through the traditional channels at all.
Yeah, it would be all purely crypto.
Purely crypto, not
And
onboarding, offboarding, none of that bullshit. Just
this will be
crypto.
interesting to see how much engagement it actually will get. Given that Binance is arguably the biggest exchange next to Coinbase.
Yeah,
So, we will see if people actually are in, because there is often the critique that crypto is literally just an industry to buy and hope that you're going to get rich, as opposed to actually using it to transact and purchase things online. So,
yeah.
yeah, I want. I'm curious to see what will come of it.
We don't have the information out of PayPal yet, if I'm not mistaken, regarding their pay with crypto feature. They have it now, and you can actually do it. And when people, you can have people pay, let them pay in crypto for your platform, and you can choose whether you convert it then and there to fiat or if you keep it in crypto, which is super cool. We don't have any information. At least I haven't found any regarding what's the GMV of that or anything of the sorts. But again, it's interesting because yeah, you're basically leapfrogging this whole legacy sector. Just before I'll let you speak a bit about Shopify, I'm just gonna throw some numbers up there. So currently, Shopify has more than 3 million websites that are using it, and I think it had like a 5-6% of all the e-commerce sites that are currently live on the internet, which is it's a good percentage. And they currently have a GMV of 42 billion, up from 30 billion last year. So basically, they grew by 50% year to year. GMV. GMV is gross merchandising value, which means the whole amount of cash that has come through. And this is just in a quarter. I'm not saying it's apples to apples, but I assume that once you'll have the option to pay with crypto, maybe a percentage of this might be in crypto.
Okay,
Shopify is fine. I was talking strictly about how much money, like the whole basket of what they sold was, and it was 42 billion. And if a percentage of that would be in crypto, that's an interesting slice of a pie.
how much do you think would be in crypto? Like just throw a number out there.
I don't know. Uh, I pay in crypto. Like I have a Binance card, and once I get some money, I put the money on the Binance card, and I pay with Binance card. But that gets converted to fiat at the POS, right? But I would
Mhm.
use crypto to buy stuff. But again, I wouldn't use my hard assets. I mean I wouldn't use tokens. I would use stable coins or something like that, like just for my day to day. But I would do it. I have zero problems with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there will be better incentives, and I think that the incentives are increasing once crypto sort of stabilizes. There'll definitely be better incentives for people to keep their actual, um, say, their income in crypto because it offers them a higher APY or APR rate than the local bank.
Yep.
So, currently it's very variable in crypto, the APR and APY rate. So I think anybody that is, um, I would say, financially reasonable wouldn't necessarily put it in a variable APY rate that also is subject to the coin increasing or decreasing in value quite
Yep.
drastically day to day even. But in the future, I think that there might be a time where coins are very stable and also offer higher APY rate than your local bank. And in that case, I think people would definitely have the income in crypto and also spend money via Shopify. I
Sure.
think that's definitely realistic.
Yeah. I I think it's perfectly feasible, and again, it's certainly more feasible once you have the option, as opposed to not having the option, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
So what I find interesting about Shopify, just to sort of latch onto
Hmm.
your um, your sort of explanation of Binance Pay and Shopify and that partnership, I particularly find Shopify interesting for many reasons, and this will be like a small sort of bull thesis. In coming episodes, I think I'll dedicate a large fraction of the podcast on why Shopify is one of my largest holdings, but
Hmm.
just from a business analysis point of view, Shopify is very interesting, and it is the biggest contender to becoming an Amazon killer. And I know people say that like loosely these days, right? The Tesla killer. the but I honestly think Shopify is the Amazon killer in the sense that they are competing in a similar space, e-commerce, in the sense that they are taking market share from Amazon. I think Shopify overtook Amazon's third seller revenue. I think last year, and on top of that, they overtook total sales of eBay. So they're really on an upward trajectory, and it's kind of weird to think that Shopify is able to do that, given that they're connecting many different businesses around the world, right? And the reason why I say Amazon killer is because Amazon is in some ways constrained by geography. They're constrained by shelf space and distribution costs. And as Shopify is growing and enables local businesses to, become digital and use all of their, you know, use all of their platform to create websites, to have incredible checkout experiences. I think Shopify actually has one of the best checkout experiences on the web. It's so like the UX, the user interface is incredible. But as Shopify is doing all of this stuff and helping all of these small businesses, they are not constrained by geography like Amazon is. They're not constrained by shelf space because everybody's using their private shelf space. In fact, Shopify could offer a separate service where they then book spaces, right? To extend private seller spaces. But yeah, they're not constrained in the same way that Amazon is constrained. And then also distribution costs. They don't need a centralized sort of space to be sending parcels and all this stuff that Amazon is doing, for example.
Yeah.
So it's almost like Shopify is Amazon, but decentralized. And it's very pro small business.
Yep.
And in my opinion, the reason why it can be an Amazon killer is because Amazon, it has grown so big and is becoming such a target for regulation and all sorts that that it's only a matter of time until somebody comes for them. In the SEC, for example, whereas Shopify is enabling small businesses. They are working in the background. There's so many websites and products that we don't know about that are actually powered by Shopify because the site doesn't
Yep.
necessarily say on the on the bottom of the site made using Shopify. There's a lot of really big companies, even the one that I'm working at. Just we won't say any names just yet, but they're using Shopify as well, and it's a very large multinational company with an apparel store that they are specifically known for, but it's entirely powered by Shopify. And
I didn't know.
the front end doesn't even give you an inkling that it might be Shopify because it's so customized. So, and this is for a multinational company. Now imagine that Shopify is offering this a similar service to your local, couple that is selling cat outfits. I don't
Yeah.
know. And this idea is just very interesting, giving people and like sort of empowering people that are selling niche product publications, helping them build sustainable businesses. It has a really big win-win aspect to it, like a non-zero sum game. Like everybody wins. And
Yeah.
you know as much as I know how important small businesses are to the economy and yeah, to society in general. So
And to innovation.
yeah. So in that aspect, Shopify doesn't just win in the aspect of just being a net, some positive for the society, but also on a business level, they can
Yeah.
compete. And the other interesting thing about them, obviously, is that they lean into new technologies, and this sort of proves the point that you was just making about Shopify and Binance Pay coming together. They, there has been rumors that Amazon is interested in crypto payments,
Yeah.
but they haven't dived fully in. In the meanwhile, Shopify has enabled some merchants to sell NFT art. They've now partnered with Binance Pay and Alchemy Pay, and it looks like they're venturing into the space. One last thing,
Hmm.
Shopify also has a platform that is called Shopify Audiences.
Okay.
And what this does, it's a data exchange network, and it uses sort of collected and aggregated conversion data.
Okay.
So just um, sort of data to make sense of your audience.
Nice.
But it uses this data anonymously opted across all merchants that opted in for this,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then it generates a custom audience for any given merchant,
Nice.
boost their sales.
Nice.
How crazy is that?
That's some Palantir stuff right there. I like it.
So it's like Shopify should be part of everybody's portfolio, like seriously.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's me. Mic drop.
Um, Yeah. No, dude, I agree with everything you said. I think we spoke about this before starting the podcast multiple times. Actually, I spoke to one of my university teachers about this, about how there's always this cycle of going from centralized to decentralized, from going to, it happens in everything. For example, think of servers. Like people used to, okay, at some point there used to be big data centers, good, basically the army. Then we went into having them in our companies had their own servers. Okay, they went a bit more centralized. They went then again to personal servers. Now we have the cloud, which is obviously everything is happening, but because of stuff like what happened with Parler, people are at least considering having cloud as well as local backup. This is like, I don't know, it's like, it makes me think of the Roman Empire. Is like when something gets too big, it just cracks and it fails eventually, and you go back to decentralized and then you centralize again. This is a normal cyclicity, and you can see it in a lot of stuff. I mean, at least I have observed this pattern multiple times. So this is the thing with Amazon as well. They're super big. I actually have some Amazon. I like Amazon. I think they're great from certain points of view, and they're horrible for other points of view. But the truth of the matter is, they're a huge company. They're not as mobile as Shopify or some other small companies. Like, they cannot do things like that. Even probably the chain of command is super hard to get through. Like, think about all those C-level executives you have to convince of your idea. A small company like Shopify will get that done like that, because
Quick time.
yeah. So from that perspective, Shopify is certainly much more agile. And like you said, yeah, they're offering a service. I assume, I mean, no, I don't assume. I think I know for a fact they have different tiers. So it's not like every website has exactly the same capabilities, but they're close. It's basically an opt-in for certain features, right? So from that perspective, yeah, even smaller companies have access to probably what is a very potent website, fast website with a minimal amount of features to get an e-commerce platform going. And that's awesome, that's
That is
awesome.
incredible. I mean, that's
Exactly.
empowering people, especially in
Yeah.
a time like this where people might have lost their jobs or whatever, and
Yeah.
are seriously, debating on doing entrepreneurship. Starting their own business, whether it's
Yeah.
something super niche, whether it's something broad. But Shopify enables them, and this is not even this is not even getting to what I think as Shopify in terms of their branding. I mean, go right now onto the Shopify Twitter, and you will see a bunch of replying to people being like, WYD, like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like that kind of thing. They'll just be like, hey guys, what are you doing? Like, what's
Mm-hmm.
up? And then posting a meme. And then like they really have captured the zeitgeist in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
with their branding as well.
Yeah.
So it's very hip because it's also, geared towards a lot of younger entrepreneurs and millennial entrepreneurs. So, and obviously, being hip is important. People want to downplay it, but it's quite important to be in tune with the time, so to say. So,
Absolutely.
aside from getting everything right technically, and then on the business side, they also, culturally seem to be really on point, and that, to me, that's just super impressive. So
It
anybody
is.
watching, I'll probably add a few sort of funny um, Twitter or tweets by Shopify into this video, just so you get what I'm trying to say. But to your point about Amazon, that they like that they're great. I'm not trying to take away from that in any way, because I think Amazon gets a lot of bashing, but at the end of the day, they are more good than they're bad, probably. Like, think about
There,
it. You can order stuff and it can get to you the next day. If you told that to somebody 100 years ago, they wouldn't believe you.
yeah.
Like, this really sci-fi shit. The way Amazon operates.
There's actually a stand-up comedian. His name is Ronnie Chang, I think. Not sure if you
Right.
know him. I think he's either Taiwanese. I don't know. He's Asian, right? So he has a bit about Amazon, and he's like, Amazon, we can't do this 24-hour bullshit. We want it now. We want Amazon now. We want the shit materializing in our hand as we click the button. Dude, the guy is hilarious. I'm probably gonna post this snippet in the description, but he's true though. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I said, bash
I
Amazon for their bad shit all you want, but
yeah.
their execution absolutely
You
fucking
cannot take away from the fact that they have dominated the space, and
yeah.
they figured out the one thing that their customer, and I think I must have been watching some talk of Jeff Bezos or something like that. So there you go, technology interrupting. So I think I was watching a
Is your watch called Jeff Bezos, or why did he react?
I have no clue. I didn't even know Siri was a dude at this point. He must have switched. One of these things where Siri starts talking in French, and you're like, "What? What's going
No.
on here, man?"
Yeah.
I was listening to a talk by Jeff Bezos, and I think he was saying something along the lines of um, that they're aggressively customer orientated, right?
Hmm.
And they asked themselves, it was something along the lines of this, but they asked themselves the questions: what is something the customer would want, and it wouldn't change in years' time? Like, what is something that will be consistently what they would want?
Hmm.
And it would be consistently something, the opposite would be consistently something they wouldn't want. A customer would never want something later, most of the
Unless
time,
they can
unless
schedule it.
unless they can schedule it, yeah, or have it at a specific time.
Exactly.
But for most
Yeah.
of the time, a customer would always want something sooner,
ASAP.
ASAP, just like you said. And because of that, you can then iterate your distribution in such a way that you maximize this thing that most of the customers would love, and it won't change in a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years time. They would always want it sooner, to the point where, just like you were saying, by Ronnie Chang, they would click on buy now and it materializes in front of them.
That's 3D printing though.
Amazon passing out 3D printers. subscription.
Yeah, dude.
We're
What if
coming up
3D,
with ideas here right now.
yeah,
Think
what
about
if 3D printing is the Amazon killer?
3D 3D
Huh?
printing with subscription that allows you to. I mean, that would be crazy. That's some cyber
Patents.
shit.
That's gonna happen. Like everybody's gonna have a 3D printer in their house. You're gonna have access to schematics or patterns or whatever. You'll buy the subscription to those patterns and you'll be able to produce the shit in your house.
Yeah.
That's
So
definitely gonna happen.
and then only people that are able to hack the 3D printer can then sort of break into the subscription, maybe something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows, man? Damn, yo, this is sci-fi shit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So speaking of that, I think one thing that we also wanted to talk about was um that Coinbase says it is enabling
Mm-hmm.
its users to buy with linked credit cards to Apple Pay and Google Pay, and instant cash outs up to $100,000 per transaction.
Nice.
I um I think I must have been listening to somebody. It could have been Paul Graham, and they were talking about how to improve your product. And one of the ways to improve your product is to remove all um, friction, to have a completely frictionless experience. And I think the number one example in the world probably is Apple. Like they have a very frictionless design processes, visually frictionless, like
Mm-hmm.
minimalist. You could, cycling back to Amazon, you could say that Amazon is similar in that regard with the buy now feature. And I think they had to patent that actually.
I
This is
I don't
why
know.
this is why it's not on too many other sites. Think about it. How many other sites have this option where you can click on buy now, and if your payment details are saved, you already bought it basically once you click buy now.
Well,
Um,
I actually integrated Amazon Pay into our website, and basically, yeah, you click on the button, it goes through Amazon, it gets your detail, and basically you're back on our page, and you can just finish the order, and it will
crazy.
extract the money. So basically,
Yeah,
then this is, dude. We talked about this multiple times when we were touching on Jumia. This vertical integration shit is absolutely amazing, dude. You build the tool in house for your own needs, and then you externalize it to third parties for them to use it, and you just fucking profit. Ah.
I know, right? This
Yeah.
is an entrepreneur's dream. Fully functional product is already out there for you to use and complete the purchase.
Yeah.
And so, in regards to this, I think Coinbase enabling Apple Pay, which is literally just clicking a button, getting
Mhm.
face recognition to recognize you, and then buying the thing, is gonna boost the purchase of different coins massively. You
Mhm.
know, just having no mental hurdle
Exactly.
and having that ease of purchase, I think is
Mhm.
huge. Because right now, how many clicks do you have to do right now to actually buy something, to buy some cryptocurrency? You have to
A lot.
click first on the thing, then it shows you some page. Then you have to click another. Then your bank might pop up and be like, "Hey, did you approve this payment? Yes or
Yeah.
no?" With Apple Pay, it just does the facial recognition thing, and then you see the tick, and it's bought.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty
um,
good.
I think this is definitely not something to underestimate. What do you think?
No, no. I again, dude. Like I said, I have the Amazon Pay experience, which is probably a bit, like you said, a bit more friction full, let's say, than Apple. I never had an Apple. I never owned one. I'm not sure how Apple Pay works, but I can imagine it's all about the user experience and the having as least steps as you can. So I can imagine it's going to be a powerful tool. And yeah, I 100% agree with this. Is like, yeah, if dude, making your stuff easy to be bought is fucking key. Whatever you're doing, not putting the customer job through hoops is the best thing you can do, right? Dude,
Absolutely.
yeah, if you could give a customer a shortcut on their screen to top up their account in Binance or Coinbase, that would be amazing. That, yeah, you would get much more money through that way. So yeah, of course, it's gonna be bullish, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not even off the top of my head. I'm not sure how much money comes into Coinbase, but I guess we'll see, because they're a public company now, and they're going to release earnings, and we'll see how much their earnings or revenue has grown, or at least their inflow has grown. We'll
Yeah.
see if
Yeah.
it made a dent, and
If
if
this
we see
actually worked,
some. Hmm?
if this actually worked, I would definitely be interested to show direct numbers between when they activated that and how much it increased. But we should be able to see this in maybe in the next few weeks.
Yeah, but no,
Once,
they release it quarterly, so you won't see it. But
no, I mean as in the increase in Bitcoin potentially.
oh yeah, maybe that. Yeah, I'm not sure about that correlation. I it would be a fallacy to say that all the people who wanted to buy crypto have already done it, because it's not true. Like, even myself, like I I jumped through some major hoops to get some money into crypto. Even now, like,
Yeah,
it's not one click. To be honest, it is because I'm frugal and I don't want to pay the 3% card fee, I admit. But other than that, it's not as easy, as just one clicking anywhere, from what I know. So yeah, that's definitely gonna be a catalyst for
yeah.
crypto in general.
Think about how many hoops that we used to go through just to get money into crypto.
Yeah, I've done some
How much money you
crazy shit.
spent just getting money into crypto? Like I think about maybe like 3 years ago, and I was doing all kinds of weird shit, man, on the dark net and stuff like that. And I'm like, what am I doing here? Buying this internet money stuff, and like,
Yeah, yeah,
like it's really strange actually, like how much effort we put into it. But
yeah,
obviously now we know that it was the right thing to do, and we probably didn't do it enough back then even. You know what I mean? Like, but
yeah,
at the time, it's like, what are you doing, really?
yeah.
You know? Yeah, but super
So in
interesting.
conclusion, making it easy to on-ramp people into crypto will definitely see some
Absolutely.
extra traction. We'll just have to see if it's tangible. I
Yeah.
mean, that's to be seen. It's definitely a better way. And to be honest, this is quite bullish for Coinbase. Unfortunately, they don't have a token, but they have a stock. So
Yeah.
good for them. Actually, good for me as well, because I have some Coinbase. But but yeah, from that perspective, I think it's a positive catalyst for them, especially if there aren't a lot of exchanges that do this. Because if
Yeah.
people will be like, okay, where can I pay with Apple Pay to buy crypto? Oh, Coinbase. If they have first mover advantage, that would be super positive for them.
Is there actually any platform out there that allows you to buy crypto through Apple Pay?
I don't know. I don't have Apple Pay, dude.
Probably not.
Never tried
Sorry,
checking
Google
it.
Pay. You have Google Pay though, right?
No, dude.
Oh, neat.
I have a 200 euros phone. I don't even have NFC on it. Like, yeah, no, it's
What? That's crazy.
yeah, it is.
That's
Yeah,
crazy. You won't get far in London with
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I can imagine.
No. But I say that, and I'm originally from Germany, and a lot of people still use cash there. They're very skeptical of digital money. So there's a few places like that in the world. So actually, it's not too uncommon, I guess. But I guess it's getting less common because
Mhm.
the convenience of like just using your like look, you can pretty much look. Can you see this?
Mhm.
I can pretty much use my Apple Watch and then
To
just
pay.
click on something to pay it. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna figure out my card number here and then hack me or something like that. One of these
And
crypto freaks.
yeah.
So yes, so continuing the conversation on crypto, I wanted to quickly touch on something, which is the Ethereum London fork is coined EIP slash 1550. I don't know how they come up with these numbers.
Yeah.
There's probably an explanation out there by someone extremely knowledgeable. But I just wanted to sort of bring the update to our listeners and viewers in a just very bite-sized portion and just way to understand it the best. So this fork will allow crypto users to it allows the creators on different platforms to have a better user experience apparently, and they're burning portions of Ethereum fees through this update. It mitigates sort of the economic inefficiencies um, due to fee volatility. You know this as much as I know this, Adi,
Hmm.
that there's been so many jokes about how high fees are on the Ethereum blockchain. And the more people use it, the higher the fees actually get. So there's plenty of jokes by people and maybe even serious cases where somebody was trying to transact a certain amount and the fee was just the same amount as the
Dude,
amount that they were trying to transact.
you had fees of $50, $60. Like, okay, whatever. If you want to buy a Bugatti, that's
It's
negligible.
fine.
But seriously, you
Exactly. But
yeah,
not for like, normal sort of people that are trying to, buy some Ethereum or switch it to something else that is on the
yeah.
Ethereum blockchain. However, the primary purpose of this is not to decrease the fees. It's just sort of a byproduct. The real thing that will decrease the fees later on and help Ethereum scale is the layer two rollup tech, is what it's called.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that in another episode. But it just basically is a layer on top of Ethereum that allows it to have faster transactions as well as decrease fees by a lot. But this update primarily is something that improves user wallet interface. And to quote, it blunts the primary criticism from BTC maximalist that ETH issuance is infinite because they're actually burning some Ethereum. They're making it less because a lot of BT maximalists will say that the issuance is infinite, therefore it is just like the current financial system where you can pretty much print infinitely.
Hmm.
So, accusing Ethereum of being inflationary, basically. But yeah, this update actually shows that Ethereum can be deflationary.
Hmm.
But that whole thing is a huge sort of conversation because on one hand you can say, hey, we Ethereum just proved that the issuance is or can be reduced, right?
Hmm.
But on the other hand, Bitcoin maximalists could then say it's not so much the fact that you can reduce it, but that it's malleable,
Yeah.
right? Because Bitcoin, on the other hand, is 21 million, if I'm not mistaken, 21 million Bitcoins, and that's all there is. And nobody can change that. And that's a
Yeah.
powerful thing. A fixed monetary policy. That's a pretty powerful. Whereas Ethereum, they can change it. They can be inflationary, deflationary, so on and so forth. So, you know,
Yeah.
um, this update also reduces the issuance without reducing network security. So we heard Vitalik say very often that he's very focused on security. Now, it also makes it harder for mining pools and others to front run trades, and it reduces network spam. And that's in a short form what this update is about.
Yeah, I was actually looking at some videos, but it was a while back, a few weeks ago, I think, and they were actually criticizing the way they did this with capping the transaction cost, basically making it. I'm not saying not worth it, but yeah, there's a cap on the fee now, so it's not gonna be as interesting as it were before, you know. I was actually talking to Manu, my friend, regarding the fact that I called it. There's gonna be a crypto token, which is basically gonna do sidechain transaction prioritizing for Ethereum. Yeah, you can only charge whatever $15 max per transaction. However, if you take this transaction and you pay me this other crypto token in this other account, I'll take your transaction first. Because this is also about that. Like crypto fees, the transaction fees. It's not just to process it, it was a who pays more gets priority. Basically what they
Okay.
basically what they did by capping it is there's a upper limit. So it's like it's anti-capitalistic in the sense that you're going to have somebody who wants to pay $100 to get his transaction through now. He
Yeah.
won't be able to do it. And basically, I was calling it that the market will find a sideway, a different chain, something parallel to make funds, to get funds in a separate way to prioritize certain transactions.
Yeah,
That's
and,
going to
and
happen.
that is a great thing. I think what they're primarily doing is looking out for the little guy, really, because that's who has to stem those big fees, and who has to stay behind when somebody's front running trades, which is why I mentioned earlier, exactly to your point. This whole update will make it harder for mining pools and sort of other individuals to front run trades, which means they they get priority, like you said, just because they're paying more, maybe.
Yeah.
So this is a sort of democratic update, if you want to call it that.
Again, I understand it, but it's kind of similar to what China did to private education. And it's like, again, it's like socialized anything without the possibility of having it private. You understand what I'm saying?
No,
And
explain that.
yeah, because basically Ethereum, the chain, the directive of the chain is, I'm your daddy, I'm gonna take care of all of you. And some guys are like, yeah, however,
Mm,
I would like to have an option. And all
that
I'm
is
saying is the
this is
market will
really
take care of it probably.
this is really interesting, and the Bitcoin maximalists will salivate at the mouth about this, because I think I get what you're saying. Like they are in a way acting like Big Brother.
Yeah, no, it's
And
socialistic.
and even
I'm
though
not.
even though it's positive, the point being that if you have some type of governance structure, right, and you're relying on the people to be positive, that is in a way centralization, right? Because you're relying on some type of source, right?
Yeah,
But instead, why not make the system in such a way that is positive, and it doesn't require somebody to make a decision, so to say. And I think that's where Bitcoin maximalists come in and say, hey, this is already built in Bitcoin, so to say. And yeah, it's a really interesting point, because Vitalik is a good guy, but what if Vitalik goes and somebody else comes? This is just the big
yeah.
cycle sort of happens over and over again.
Yeah, but we don't know. We don't know if certain changes wouldn't be possible in Bitcoin as well. Like the difference is, by the way, I found out what EIP is. It's Ethereum Improvement Proposals, and 1559 is the actual number of the proposal. There have been 1,558 proposals before, and this was just the 59th. And it was made by Vitalik and some other guys. That's all. Just a counter. Nothing
Gotcha.
more magical about it.
Got you. Yeah, super interesting. And I think that'll be something that something juicy we can talk about in the next podcasts. What a good governance structure is, and if if it's a good system, if you have to rely on the people that are running it to be good. So yeah, but these and other deep topics on legalized robbery real soon. Anything you
Real
want to say in
talk.
closing?
Um, I think we can leave the ETCC thing for next time. Right?
Yeah,
We
we
can.
can leave that for next time.
Yeah. No, nothing much, dude. I just I'm super curious. What I've seen some numbers regarding how much Ethereum was already burned, so that's interesting. I'll dig a bit deep more into this topic. Maybe I'll come back next time and do a deeper dive, just like I did with Bitcoin and Lightning Network and stuff,
Yeah,
because that was interesting as a research, So yeah, other than that, I'm cool.
yeah. So thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you again next week on Legalized Robbery. Peace.
Bye bye.
Nobody move and nobody gets hurt. This is a stick up by Jerry and Adrian, the Legalized Robbery podcast.